that marriage should be defined, that definition should be saved between a man and a woman.
That's what I believe that the scripture says, that homosexuality is a sin. So, I believed it before and I still believe it now.
They're sins, and they destroy the family.
And homosexuality is
and homosexuality,
a sin.
yeah.
Therefore, it's a choice.
It's a choice you make. It's a sinful choice.
Did you make a choice to be heterosexual?
Dear American Youth Pastor, I know about your mission. I know it's big. I know heaven's at stake. But I need to talk to you about a boy in your ministry. You've seen him. He sits in the back. He's one of the young ones, only 14. Soon, the boy will begin to learn something new about himself, something old, something he can never unlearn. On an unremarkable Sunday morning, while your pews are being peppered with parishioners, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed freshman will sit down next to the boy. This will cause the boy's heart rate to quicken, his breath to shallow, and his nervous system to saturate with euphoria. Without any fanfare at all, it's begun. The boy is learning. On Wednesday nights, when you prescribe the youth their Adderall of song, the boy will hide in the back row of seats. He'll remain there, invisible there, until the freshman's blue eyes find him there. The two will become their own choir, harmonizing with each other long after the singing is done. There's the heart rate, the breath, the euphoria. The boy is learning. Soon, you'll deliver a sermon on King David, and you'll quote the Old Testament when David formed a covenant with his friend Jonathan because their souls were knit together. The boy will imagine that his soul and the soul of the freshman are knitting together, stitch by stitch, a new stretch of yarn every time they share the back row of seats. With each knitting, the boy is learning. This isn't a problem for you now, my dear youth pastor, but it will be. It will be exactly 1 year into their friendship when the freshman's ocean eyes withdraw a tsunami of defenses, and he reveals to the boy why he sits next to him every Sunday, every Wednesday. The sea in his eyes will become a river down his face, and he'll admit that he's alone, just like the boy, afraid, just like the boy. This will trigger the heart rate and the breath and the euphoria, and the boy will find in those moments, in those eyes, courage to admit something of his own. He loves the freshman. He isn't afraid to say it because it comes from the same place in him that loves Jesus. But the ocean will still, its tides cease, and the freshmen look away, far away. There's the heart rate, but no breath, the learning, but no euphoria. The freshman will stand, and the knitting the boy believed between them will disintegrate, stitch by stitch, until one soul, once again, is two. The freshman will turn to leave, never to return. The covenant between David and Jonathan will fade from the pages of the Old Testament, neither a soul to knit with anymore. Even in his suffering, the boy is learning. Then, on an unremarkable Sunday morning, while your pews are being peppered with parishioners, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl will sit down next to the boy. She will smile, he will not. She'll wonder why, he will not. She'll move on, he will not. Because on that morning, you will deliver a sermon about being a man of God. You will teach that our Maker made men to act like men, made men to be one man, one woman for life. made men to be normal. Because the boy believes in God, he'll believe what you say about God. And because he loves God, he'll learn to hate himself. When a beautiful young man passes by, he'll learn to hate the heart rate, the breath, and the euphoria. He'll learn to hate the sunlit hair, the blue-eyed ocean. He'll learn to hate David and Jonathan and the knitting that happens between same-gendered souls. He'll learn to hate himself. And this hatred will grow like a tumor hungry for his brain until he stops eating at school, until he stops sleeping, until he stops bathing, until he is sick with a sickness his primary care cannot cure. His soul will so shrivel in the vinegar of anger, he will cease to feel bad. He will cease to feel, not even love, not even for Jesus. For the first time in his 14 years of life, the boy will not want a life. And when you discover how ill he is, my dear youth pastor, you won't call him in for counsel. You won't telephone his folks. You won't wonder about that sermon of yours. Instead, you will invoke executive powers of the pastorate, ejecting the boy from his church home, from his church, from his home. You'll implement what is known as church discipline to keep the child of sin from the child of the Spirit. You'll make the tough decision a leader is forced to make for the good of the children. The good of the children. The good shepherd may abandon his flock for one little sheep, but the good pastor knows better, doesn't he? It's one little boy, a boy who cannot learn anymore.
Being gay is a gift from God, but our culture doesn't understand that.
Well, you're the first minister I ever heard say being gay is a gift from God. I can tell you that.
But now you're here too.
Now you're here too. Okay.
Look, I know you love your kids. I know you want to see them in heaven. I know you want to save them. But don't kill them in the process. One of them may live to grow up and write about it. Then, my dear American youth pastor, you might not have any youth to pastor.